property industry in the Philippines has historically been a very traditional industry, very, very traditional practices in doing business, and not much, not much innovation. And then the pandemic happened, and it completely really changed all the rules of the game, and it really forced all developers to adjust. Let me cite to you maybe just in three areas. For example, just the product itself. The product itself. Before the pandemic, I think it was a default decision in terms of location that predominantly most people wanted to buy property that were located near their place of work or public transportation and all that. But now, after the pandemic, with the with the requirement for social distancing, hygiene, open space, and all that, I think the preference now of buyers are really going to change now. And I think even your recent Lamudi study confirmed this, no? That you saw a trend of people now looking for more house and lots, more spacious accommodations, even if they're outside CBD, because now the need to be close to work or the need to be close to public transportation is sort of lessened because of work from home. How they buy the product has also radically changed because of the pandemic. People get their information largely, almost exclusively from social media and largely to their phone, right? Facebook and all that. No? So that also has changed how they purchase the product. I mean, before it had to be face to face, being brought to the site itself, doing site visits, all the documentation being done with paper for all the documents and all, for the bank data and all had to be done online. Can't be done anymore, right? Because of social distancing. So that's changed, right? And lastly, even in construction, you know, construction has been very much affected by this pandemic. You know, you've got all these IATF protocols that limits the number of workers that you can have on the job site. So that has a big, big impact on project completion, on costs. So I guess bottom line is, if a developer, if a player in the real estate industry does not adapt to these changes, they're not going to survive. And these changes are here to stay. It's not when the vaccine comes back to the old ways. No, these are permanent changes, and they're only going to accelerate even more. One of the areas in the real estate business that has really been affected is the way you market your product and the way you get leads, the way you generate sales. We invested in the infrastructure, in the platform that will enable our sellers to be able to get leads without having to use these traditional methods. You know, we invested early in getting leads from social media through Lamudi, to our engagement with Lamudi, which has been very fruitful. And also we invested in developing 3D project tours so that even if the prospect is unable to go to the site itself, they can get a 360-degree virtual tour of the project. Now, it was almost like they were there. You know? So we did this very early on, and then in addition, we also started already investing in online documentation so that even the documents, the signature, the payment, all the payment mechanisms, the payment options, online options were available so that we can give options to the prospect aside from just giving post-dated checks or through these traditional means. The learning curve was easily reached. We were able to surpass the learning curve early. So when the pandemic hit, we weren't caught off guard. And our sales, if you were to look at our sales during this pandemic period, you will see that especially after ECQ, we're actually hitting sales that are higher than our pre-pandemic sales. We've actually surpassed them already. So we're very optimistic. We're very bullish about the business going forward. Any kind of change, there will be of course, there's going to be that, as I said, that learning curve, change. People just don't adapt to something new overnight. As I said, the real estate business, particularly real estate selling, has been very, very traditional for many years. So this whole idea of getting leads digitally, presenting to clients online, showing them the project, so the 3D virtual tour, closing the sale, having the clients fill up the documents online and not physically. I mean, all that was very, very new to all our sales force. One of the challenges was really just learning the technology, getting used to it, getting comfortable with it. But I think we're getting there. I think we've set down the training, all the materials we need, the orientation. And I guess this has also influenced our recruitment. When we now recruit salespeople, that becomes an important criteria, their level of tech savviness. Number one, I think Lamudi is still by far the most reliable in terms of data and information about the property industry and the growing trends. So why? Because your data is sourced from people who actually go to your site, or people who actually engage you, who will click, who will view. In other words, your data is really based on actions done by the target market, as opposed to maybe other groups that will base their data sources what people say, right? So for me, I would find data sourced the Lamudi way. I would tend to find that more reliable. So I think that's one aspect where the engagement with the movie has been quite fruitful. And secondly, I think even the amount of qualified leads that we've been getting from the movie has also been quite good. And it's not, I guess it's not just the number of leads, but the quality of the leads that we get from the movie. They're not just, they're prospects that more or less know what they're looking for. They're good quality leads. They know what they're looking for. They know more or less what products we have and whether they have budget for it. And so there's always a high probability of closing the sale when the lead is sourced from the movie. The relationship with the movie has been fruitful. I think they have contributed to our success so far during this pandemic period. The information that we get, we really rely a lot on the data that we get from the Lamudi studies. It is very important data that we use in our decisions, in some of the adjustments that we make in our strategy. The leads, the platform of Lamudi in terms of marketing our products and generating leads has also been quite effective. So overall, I would say that the engagement with Lamudi has been beneficial to AboitizLand.